The objective is to help improve the rule of law on the African continent. Of course, it's made up of many, many countries. And so I started going to Africa in 2001 when I was a Court of Appeals judge. What Jones Day has done and given me the opportunity to do is to build on those relationships that I had, to collaborate, because it's a partnership, working with NGOs on the ground in Africa, judiciaries, public defenders, women's rights organizations, as well as not-for-profits here in the United States, like Lawyers Without Borders, like the National Institute for Trial Advocacy. And so typically, like the program I just finished in Nigeria, this was the 6th time we've done training of public defenders. Lagos, in particular, is one of the few states in Nigeria that actually has a public defender's office funded by the government. In most African countries, you only get representation for capital offenses. And then it's someone appointed and paid a fairly low hourly rate. So I took a team of 15, and we did basic trial advocacy training. We brought a forensics expert with us so that they could learn about guns and firearms, providing a foundation for understanding how firearms work, how the tests work. And then we did a component on restorative justice, which is an alternative way to handle criminal offenses, where the victim and the offender sit down with a restorative justice expert and talk why and how the crime was committed, how it affected the victim, what the victim requires, and of course it requires that the offender admit whatever they did and have a face-to-face. So those were the 3 aspects of the training that we did. And that advances the rule of law, because if you have better prepared public defenders, they can represent the people on the ground better. And we can enhance the whole criminal justice system. A second type is more institutional building, and so a recent project I've been involved in is in Kenya with the banking industry. There was a pilot program about 4 years ago to try to mediate banking cases. The backstory is tremendous backlog in Kenya and in many countries in the formal judicial system. Part of that is because, having inherited a colonial system that is adversary, people are just used to filing lawsuits, and so they become very litigious, just like us. We have embraced in this country for a number of years mediation as a way to reduce caseload, both on the civil and criminal side. I did a conference in Kenya on mediation with the Weinstein International Foundation, with Strathmore Law School, and got to meet the governor of the central bank. So he arranged for me to meet with the Kenyan Bankers Associations. There are 42 banks in Kenya. And I talked to them about starting a mediation program for their customers as well as vendors, because it takes so long for those banking cases to make their way through the system. Interest rates are charged at a higher rate because it takes so long to get things resolved. And the governor wanted to do something about that. I wanted to do something about that. The judiciary wanted to do something about it. And so the new Chief Justice, Martha Koome, has created a very robust court mediation program for smaller cases. And for example, in 2021, 10,000 cases went through the system, 5,000 settled. So I got the Bankers Association, the Chief Justice, Strathmore Law School and their Alternative Dispute Resolution Group, the Kenya Law Society, and formed a coalition. And now we are identifying all the banking cases across Kenya that are in the courts. Strathmore Law School is training mediators, existing mediators, to help them with their commercial and banking skills. We're holding a big conference in April to announce this initiative, and hopefully in the fall we will process all the banking cases in the country with highly accredited, accomplished mediators. If that project is successful, we then intend to move to the construction industry and then to land. Right now, in most of Africa, when disputes arise, what's written in the contracts are arbitration clauses, which are costly, which take a lot of time, take a lot of money. So that's one big project that I'm working on with the banking industry in Kenya, hopefully building a model that can be used elsewhere.